Before you watch this episode of our cityCURRENT radio show, I want to invite you to join cityCURRENT's e-learning and online personal development platform called GrowthCurrent. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the cityCURRENT radio show and CEO of cityCURRENT. GrowthCurrent is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Being online, you can join us from anywhere in the world. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Check out growthcurrent.com to learn more and to join us in our efforts to power the good. And now, on to the show. Welcome back to the cityCURRENT radio show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our good friend, someone that you will learn a lot from, Andrew Gieselmann. He is the CEO of Sandler Training by Capstone Sales Performance. Andrew, buddy, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing well. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Let's dive into your world of coaching and sales training and mentorship. But give us a little background before we dive into all of your advice and tips. Just give us some background on Sandler Training by Capstone Sales Performance.
So Sandler Training, we focus on businesses really from the top down. So typically CEOs will come to us or we'll go to them, and they are struggling to figure out, some of the go-to-market strategies. They're trying to get their sales teams on the same page. They're trying to move the ball forward, maybe increase their margins, maybe shorten their sales cycles. And then alongside of that, sometimes we're working with their leadership team, doing some development at that level, coaching some of the executives along the way. We really look at companies. We're kind of a business development specialist if you look at us kind of big picture.
When you look at COVID-19, talk about some of the disruptions that you've seen, but you're working through with companies. And I'm thinking already, you've got remote workforces, go-to-market strategies changing dramatically, now using Zoom to do meetings. What are some of those major things that you're seeing and working with your clients on?
So initially it's pretty interesting. COVID is, obviously taken the world by storm. But in the beginning, I think everybody froze. And there was this, we got to go home. And I think there was probably really a lot of excitement from the employees being like, we got to go home. But obviously from the execs and upper level is very frustrating for them. How do I manage these people from afar? What kind of tools do our people need? How are they going to be successful? How do we already struggle to hold them accountable in the office? How in the world are we going to hold them accountable out of the office? So all of that was happening so quickly, like fire hose effect. And what we saw was everybody just kind of sit. And I think they just, in the very onset of this, just wait. Let's just wait and see what happens. That changed 3 months in. I think people started to realize we can't just sit here and wait. And so it kind of separated into like two groups of people. I think you have those that they may have the potential to wait it out. That might be something that they want to do. And they just kind of hunker down. They're hoping for the best. That's a little more comfortable to them, and maybe they make it through and just kind of hope the storm passes. And then there was this other group of people, smaller group of people that really they wanted to figure out what they needed to change. In other words, how do we change? What do we change? And here's the thing. We're in the business of change. That's what we do. We teach people how to position themselves stronger in their marketplace, or how to coach better, or how to lead stronger, whatever it is. But in the onset of this, we were even like, man, this is going to change the game for everybody, right? So we started to collaborate with people in our network because we've got clients all over the country. I work with a few clients globally, and we started to really test a lot of different theories that people could receive in their marketplace given the onset of this. We knew that meetings, like number one, meetings were not going to happen face-to-face. So all the sales professionals who love to use their flamboyant personalities to get deals were not able to do that. They got to figure out how to transfer that into the momentum of a Zoom call or even just a conference call. And that was a big shift. And that shift continues today. And we started to see a lot of change with what markets actually would receive when it came to prospecting. So we started to push out concepts that were different. And then we would get together and the 12, I'm in a group of about 12 of us, and we'd get together and talk about what seems to be working, what seems to be helping companies make progress. What are we seeing that's successful? What are we seeing that's not? So what that did, well, I think it helped to put us a little bit ahead of the curve that everybody's sitting in the middle of going, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? So at the onset, first 2 or 3 months, Jeremy, I think people just kind of locked up and froze. Now we're seeing more. I'm seeing more owners and CEOs come to us and they're trying to figure out what are some things that they need to be doing. I think now they're looking for those resources because it's not like we're going to go back to what normal was. This is going to change a lot of the way that business is done moving forward and across several different industries. All the industries are feeling this impact. So that's what we've seen, and that's kind of where we've landed thus far.
Yeah, let's take this in some threads in terms of how you're helping your clients navigate this in a positive way and come out stronger through this. And as you alluded to, it's that mindset is the first part of it.
Yeah.
It is looking at it as an opportunity to change in a good way and to come out stronger. But talk about, this group on your end. I know that one of the things that you're positioning and trying was email campaigns. And so kind of a sales funnel of email. But talk about what you're seeing and maybe one lesson learned when it comes to using emails as an opportunity to create new opportunities.
Right. So, and I'm happy to share this model with anybody if you want to give them the information at the end or whatever. But we've got a model that was created. And it's funny because we wrote a book about this. It's probably been 18 months since it was released prior to this. But the model was, okay, let's get some prospecting working in the background for us where we're not just pounding out the phone because, again, people aren't receiving that as well as they were prior to COVID. And the email concept was we're going to send an initial email. It's going to be really simple. It's not going to assume we should do business. It's going to be kind of in the language that we teach people, position yourself in a way that if there needs help and it justifies a conversation, have it. If not, that's okay. And we send that email out. On the first email with our clients, because we've tracked this with our clients, on the first email, we see about 8, maybe 10% response to that. It's pretty low, as expected. Then we have exactly 2 weeks later, we would send a second email. And that second email would basically say, I just wanted to make sure that you saw the email I sent you. It's listed below. And we see about the same, maybe 8%, maybe 10% come back on that. The third email, which goes out 2 weeks after that, and we've kind of got this, it's simple to fill out, right? So the third email is more of a takeaway. Like I'm going to take the assumption that, hey, what we sent you doesn't make sense. You're having a hard time telling me that. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. Just let me know if I'm correct with my assumption. And in that email, we're seeing and tracking about 74 to 76% response. And here's the interesting thing. I think sales professionals in general would think, man, 60% of those people are going to be like, don't ever contact me again. Only 5%, less than 5% of those 74% of responses are like, take me off your list. Most of them are, now's not a good time, or yes, I'm open to having the conversation. Either way, that is what's creating an in for people to pick up the phone and say, hey, Bob, thank you for responding to me, being transparent. I really appreciate it. If there's a way that we should stay in contact, when would be the best time to call you moving forward? And that's where people are making a lot of connection.
For you, one of the things that I love is that you take a very honest approach. And as you mentioned before, you're like, don't ever assume that you're a right fit. And so give them the opportunity to be disarmed.
Right.
Talk about how, because I know another powerful one is LinkedIn. Talk about how you're using LinkedIn, because I know you mentioned offline that a lot of people aren't really using LinkedIn effectively, or they're missing the mark, they're missing the opportunity. Talk about kind of the same approach for LinkedIn.
Right. So LinkedIn has been moving fast, right? And I think prior to COVID, people are trying to figure out, Is Facebook business the right model? Is Instagram business the right model? What's LinkedIn? How does that fit in between all this? And just from my experience and kind of what we've pushed out, we've just seen a lot of success on the LinkedIn platform. Some people know about LinkedIn Navigator. It's an amazing tool for building a territory or for finding opportunities. It's an extra cost, but it is a very powerful tool. But outside of that extra cost, just in your regular LinkedIn, what people were, I think, flooding LinkedIn with was this message to somebody they hadn't connected to, and it was salesy. I mean, look, Jeremy, I even had a guy reach out to me about life insurance, and literally in his message, he was like, I need to talk to you about your life insurance because COVID is deadly to a lot of people and nobody knows how it's going to affect them when they get it. So it would be a good time for us to have that conversation. And it's kind of that bitterness of everyone is reaching out saying, you need what I have. I don't need how would you know what I need? Why would you even assume that any product or service that you have is something I need without wanting to understand my position on it in the first place? And that's what you mean by, how do we really massage that concept into someone new? So what we found on LinkedIn was that if you connect first, it's going to sound a little crazy, but if you connect first, if they accept your connection, don't fire off at them. Don't send them an immediate message saying, thanks for the connect. I'm hoping we can get together and talk about business. Don't do that. Spend 2 weeks. Watch them. Give them a like on their post, thumbs up, or an applaud. They have a little applaud thing now. Or if they share something that's relevant that you like, share that. When you share something, people know you shared it. Like they know who you are now because not many people share everybody else's content. So 2 things happen. One, you're part of their team because you're helping them get more face value, more face time on LinkedIn with their content. Liking it, that's great. Making a comment, that's good. When you share their content, make sure that you tag them in the, in the little comment that you make. Those little things, they may seem like nothing, but to the individual that is trying to create a presence on LinkedIn, it is everything to them. I had as an example someone that I wanted to meet, and so I shared a post that she had, and I put it on our page, right? Shared it to us, copied her in it. I referenced the book. I copied the author of the book in it, and then now I got connected to all those people because all these shout outs matter. All of the connections matter. And then once you're connected to somebody and they see you having some kind of activity, then you say, hey, I've been watching some of your stuff. Thanks for connecting with me a few weeks ago. I wondered if it would make sense. We're in the same markets together or we have similarities. Love to just have a short conversation if you're open to it. That right there will get you a conversation with a lot of people on LinkedIn. And not because you're trying to sell them something, but you're learning. You want to learn from people. And this is weird because right now, it's more about, I think, learning from these people than it is trying to push products, sell, push service, sell. All that pressure has really, really turned people off. So I think initially people thought, I'm going to start messaging everybody on LinkedIn. We would say connect with them first. If you get the connection, follow them for a couple of weeks, like them, maybe share one of their posts, make a comment. Don't stalk them. Please don't like them every day. It's a little weird. Don't do that. But make sure that you spend some time watching what they're doing and getting familiar with it. We even have a tool called LinkedIn Levers. And that is a tool that someone can take and actually do a lot of research in LinkedIn on specific companies or contacts so that they can actually get to know them a little bit more and find out if they actually fit as a target and start to build that conversation. But people are fairly receptive. And even if somebody doesn't accept your request, which that happens to me all the time, right? I'm not trying to be a stalker and connect. But what I'll do is I'll send a simple message that says, hey, the reason I reached out to you was because of X, Y, Z. I keep it real short. And I tell them, I don't assume that a conversation would make sense. If you think that it would, I'm happy to have one. Let me know. And sometimes people connect back and sometimes they don't. I'm not going to be offended by it one way or the other, but that's how we're seeing it work really well.
Yeah, and that's awesome advice. And I'm even thinking like, man, I'll take that clip and just share that all over LinkedIn, because to your point, so many people need to follow that advice.
Right.
Share maybe one or two other just favorite tips when it comes to go-to-market strategy, trends that you're seeing. Give us one or two more of your favorite things.
Yeah. So I think one more thing, especially now, you're able, this is the first time. So people, of course, always avoiding the cold call, right? I don't like the cold. Look, you don't have to like cold calls. You just have to make them every once in a while. Okay. But now we're getting more of people's cell phones, because gatekeepers are not as in the way as they have been in the past, because they have to give those numbers out because nobody's in the office. They're all at home. So that's fair. But the thing is, when you do get somebody on the phone, just have a conversation with them. Tell them, be transparent. The more transparent you are, the more opportunity you're going to have a conversation with them. And so when you call somebody you don't know and you say, hey, Jeremy, this is Andrew. We don't know each other. And we've never had a conversation. If I could, can I just take a quick half minute, tell you why I'm calling? And then why don't you tell me if you think it's actually worth a conversation? And if it is, great, we'll have it. And if it's not, we'll close the book, part friends, no harm, no foul. And you'd be shocked at how many people are receptive to that. I even have people that call and they make it fun, right? They say, Jeremy, hey, it's Andrew. Unfortunately for you, this is a sales call. And I know you have I know you probably want to hang up on me, but I'm hoping you'll give me a half a minute to tell you why I'm calling. Which way do you want to go? And you know what? There are a few that hang up. Would you really want to do business with those guys? Probably not. But for most people, probably 92 or 3% of people, they'll say, sure, go ahead. What do you got? And you start a conversation. The other thing, and I recently had a video that went out about this, but the other thing is make sure that you are paying attention that how you shift the communication of your old go-to-market strategy is actually something that the market can receive. The market is not receiving the messaging that was taking place 6 months ago. So if you're trying to push out what you were doing 6 months ago and you're not getting results today, the reason is because you're avoiding that change. Or maybe you don't know how to make that change. But either way, you're going to have to shift what you say and how you say it today so that your market can receive it differently than they would have received it 6 months ago. And that's a little bit more of a complicated conversation, but it's true. It's what we're seeing. And so people are shifting the concept of how they're connecting with people and how the communication is being received differently today than it was at the beginning of the onset of COVID and this pandemic. So that's those are a couple of other things I would keep in mind.
Yeah, no, great stuff. And this is one of those we'll have to have you come back on because there's so much great information. Wrap up and talk about your website. Where do people go to learn more and to reach out and connect with you?
So we're on primarily we're on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, but our company is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to reach out and see what we're doing. Website is csp.sandler.com. You can check us out there. We have I'm on Instagram. We don't really have a company thing there. So, but LinkedIn's probably the best way. Email, you can put all that up in the thing, I guess. But that would be, you check us out on the website or just come hang out with us on LinkedIn. We do a lot of work on there.
Well, Andrew, you've been a longtime partner in cityCURRENT. We greatly appreciate all you do to power the good. Thank you for being a part of the show. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy. Glad we were on.